I think we're good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start. But welcome to all for this week's or this month's edition. Uh, Good to have everybody with us. I want to do a special welcome to Mr. Jeff Eastham. Jeff Eastham is on here, but he is away from his computer at the moment. Jeff is the new youth pastor at Life Church Internet. There he is. What up, Jeff?
What's happening?
Jeff is the new youth pastor at Life Church International with Kevin McGlamory. Can we say hello, fellas? What
What
up?
up? What up? What's up? What's happening at Bama Boys?
That's right. It's good to have you.
Roll Tide.
Good to have you, y'all. Good to have you, Jeff. It's good to have everybody. But, anyways, this week's topic, I posted it earlier, is I want to talk about there's a need of like college ministry. We can talk about that for a little bit, but I want to see how kind of like how you guys transition from children's church to youth, and then how you transition your kids from there to college. Do you guys have like a program or anything y'all do, or do y'all have like steps that you guys take them through, or how do you walk through them? And then we'll talk a little bit about college ministry as well and see how you guys run your stuff. But who wants to start us off? Joe Bain, go ahead.
All right, yeah, we try to incorporate our fifth graders because we do sixth grade up, so we try to incorporate our fifth graders into a few of the activities kind of in their last year in children's church to get acquainted to what we do. We try to focus a little bit on the parents as well to get them more comfortable because the biggest issue that we have is parents feeling uncomfortable with their kids coming up with students that are in high school, and so that creates a little bit of a problem. We have actually implemented what Justin Sharp has been doing or has done at Stumbleton, where we have split up our junior high and high school. We do two small groups every Wednesday night. We do two complete different services every Wednesday night, one for junior high and one for high school. While we're doing the junior high service, the high school is meeting for small groups, and then we do one set of worship, and then the last hour we do high school services with junior high small groups, and we're doing that to kind of preserve our high school students, but also help our junior highs move up. That has given the parents a little bit of ease with the transition. So on top of the trying to get to know them a little bit better while they're in children's ministry, we've tried to really change our whole focus and really how we do things. And this year we started because we had 15 graduate and we had 12 move up. Next year we'll have 15 more move up, and so it's really a young group. So we wanted to really get the parents on board with what we got. So that is kind of our transition from junior high to or from children's ministry to student ministry. So right now it seems to be working fine. Next year I may tell you that it was a total flop and do something else. So that's our transition.
Cool. All right. Who else? I'm gonna kind of. I don't want to say I'm kind of staying out of this one, but this is kind of like a learning thing for me. We're learning to do this as well. So, how do you transition your kids to youth? Do you have programs that you do or make them go through? Do you have certain requirements that you make them go through? Because I think a lot of people, this is where I run into, we've got a lot of people that are college age that want to serve as youth leaders. So, anybody else have that problem? Or not problem, but cool. I'm the only one. That's cool. One thing I've learned about Alabama youth pastors, they sure know how to talk on a video chat.
I'll go ahead and step up.
Go ahead, dog.
Both areas of children transitioning to student ministry and students transitioning to college ministry, we've implemented some new things the past few years, and I'm in the process of implementing some I don't know if you call them programs, but just concepts and ideas right now. We're wanting to make mine and Cassie's presence known in children's church at least once a quarter. Make it a big deal for the youth pastor and the youth pastor's wife to interact with the kids that's moving up to student ministry. And then on the flip side of that, I'm wanting to take my junior and seniors to the college and career service once a quarter. So I will actually physically go out there with them and be with them and honor our college and career pastors. And because that's one of the struggles we've had in the past. All students know is student ministry, and they graduate high school, and hey, it's a rule. You got to move up to college and career, and they're just just to be honest, we've lost a lot, and we've already had some rules in place where you have to be faithful to Fusion, which is our college and career ministry, for at least a year before you can come back and serve. Well, basically, boys, girls clubs, boys, girls ministries, student ministry, things of that nature. And we've actually tweaked that a little bit the last few months, where we are allowing our seniors to intern in certain areas of ministry, or for graduates, graduating seniors, they can intern in student ministry as long as they meet some requirements. A couple of those requirements, they have to take our lead pastor's small group. He does a small group called Holy Ambition, so they have to go through that small group with them. And they can only intern every other Wednesday night. And so the other Wednesdays that they are not interning, they still must be faithful to Fusion, to our college career ministry. So.
Huh. Does anybody have a college kid that's a youth leader or helps you on Wednesday nights or Sunday nights whenever you do it?
3.
You have 3. Do you give them responsibilities?
Yes.
What are their responsibilities?
They work my check-in desk, part of media presentation. One runs sound for me. I allow him to be a part in band activities, just not a lot. I try to keep the band mostly for my students. Otherwise, we plug them in everywhere we can, man. I try to work them as much as I can, utilize them as much as I can.
That's cool. I like that. One thing that we want to do, implement here, but as y'all know that we don't have a children's pastor right now. We've got an interim guy right now, but we haven't really hired anybody yet. But we'll see how that works. But anyways, what I'm wanting to do kind of is do like a mentorship program. Something I'm thinking about doing is a mentorship program between our youth and our children, especially like put certain kids in our youth group over the kids in our youth children's ministry that are moving up. So that's one thing we're wanting to do. We haven't done anything in place, put anything in place yet. As far as like college coming to you, I should have never ate this Tootsie Roll in my mouth. Never done it. Never should have done it. We got a lot of college kids that come down and help as well, and we utilize them. We had a bunch, then they kind of left, and then some of them are starting to trickle back and come back again.
Stuart, is y'all's college service on the same night as your student service?
We used to have a college service on Thursday nights at, I think it was like 7 o'clock, and they would use the youth room. But ever since Pastor Box, right before he left, he implemented it to where we don't do a service with college ministry anymore. They do just small group on Wednesday nights, so they meet at the same time that our youth does as well. Now, one thing we're wanting to do is like keep it that way, make it kind of like a coffee shop type of thing. But if they want to go to a service, they can go to a service if they want to. But we're wanting to do maybe a once a quarter or maybe once every other month worship service for the college kids. That will be totally up to them to do if they are wanting to do it. But we're wanting to make that available for them to do that. So they do same night, if that answers your question.
Did anybody attend the Ruach conference?
I wish.
One of the big things that Kevin Wallace drove home this year was generational synergy. I know that sounds, a little out there, but man, it really hit home. Talking about getting the generations together, allowing them to experience the presence of God together, and honoring the generations above you and valuing the generations under you. The younger generations want to know that they're valued, and the older generation wants to know that they are honored. And just bringing all those generations together, he talked about to incorporate a multi-generational prayer meeting. He said one of the things that he would do to get the generations together is to put a teenager over the senior ministry, and I'm talking about the senior adult ministry of the church.
Huh.
I mean, it was some far out there stuff, but hey, it was good. I wish, for me to sit here and try to tell y'all everything he said, I would probably not do a good job. So, but it was good stuff, talking about generational synergy.
A teenager over senior adult ministry?
Yes, he said get a good grounded teenager and put them over coordinating events for the senior adult ministry, and he says those senior adults would just eat it up, say that they love it. It brings the generations together. It was three things. That was one. The multi-generational prayer meeting was another, and I forget the other one. But,
that's cool.
It's good.
That's cool. That's interesting. Ori, I want to ask you a question, my buddy. Ori, didn't you just start a college and career, or have they had a college and career at Loxley? If so, tell me how you do your service and how you kind of transition your youth into college.
Well, when I got here, there was not an active college ministry, really. They called it Bridge. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. It was a ministry that they called Bridge, but unfortunately it had ended up being that group where, yes, it was expected that people would go there after high school, but the age range even went up into the late 30s and nearly 40. So it was not quite a college and career ministry. So for the first while, we started trying to say, okay, what is it that these guys really want? We went through a time of offering every week college career services, and it went good for a while. And then we started realizing a lot of our college and career students don't have a set schedule. One thing we started running into is they had to wait each week and say, okay, I work this day or I work that day. So we would try and do a series, but there was not a lot of consistency in when they would be there. So we went to a once a month service, and it went good for a little while, but it wasn't something that was setting. So we sat down with them and said, okay, guys, what is it that you want? And man, they just looked at us realistically and said, hey, we run all the time. We'd like to be able to sit down, chill, hang out with each other, and discuss, and just really take some scripture and not necessarily be lectured, but them have the opportunity to discuss it. So we have started a thing now to where I've got separate group leaders. I've got a group leader for Sunday mornings, and I've got group leaders for Wednesday nights. And what they do is we've made it very, very simple. Most of the time it's like a video curriculum that they'll watch a clip for about 10, 15 minutes. And man, they will discuss the hound out of it. And since we found out that our group wasn't necessarily looking for an additional service, they were looking for a place where they could just sit there, chill on some couches, get to know some people that they don't normally have time to talk to, and actually get to share their thoughts, share their struggles at what's going on. And since then, we have actually seen a lot of growth. Now we're starting to see our seniors that they're getting excited about moving up now. Before they were scared to death because they didn't want to go to the old people class. So right now, that's our big thing. We do a Sunday morning group and a Wednesday night group, and we've seen a lot of group. We push the concept of small group, having discussion format, and just sharing life together. So,
Do you do it every Wednesday night?
we do it every Wednesday night and every Sunday. Now Sundays we do it between our two morning services. It goes from 9:45 until 10:35. It's 50 minutes. And no joke, I tell my leaders for the first 10 minutes, I don't want you to talk about the Bible. I tell them, I want you just to check in, see what's new in people's lives. We're starting to find out that when we allow that first 10, 15 minutes, just for the kids to, well, I call them kids, but for the young adults, for them to be able to share what's going on in their career dreams, what's going on in college, what's even going on in their living situations. And man, just because of that, they've started saying that, man, it feels so good. We've had in the time that we've been here, we've had an influx of college and career age people. And the thing that they say repeatedly is they feel like they're not just a number with us. They have an opportunity to talk to people that care, and they actually look forward to being able to talk to somebody about what's going on in their life on Sundays and Wednesdays.
That's interesting. Now, do you do that the same time as your youth, or is it after?
Yes. Well, on Wednesdays we do it the same time we're doing a student service. So what I've made an option now, of course, I have several college students that want to be involved in the student ministry. One thing that I'm encouraging is if they want to be involved in the early aspect of our service, such as the worship and the main portion where I'm using a lot of media, I'll encourage them to be a part of that. But then at a certain point, I encourage them to go ahead and make their way up to their college group and let my students take over.
Yeah.
So on Wednesdays, our college group goes from 6:15 until 7:30.
Okay. So they meet earlier. Now, do you have like coffee and stuff available for them on Wednesday nights?
Man, yeah, we've got
that's
the
what I
Keurig
figured.
available in there. We've got a little small fridge with Coke products. My group leaders, they try to bring some kind of a snack. They've even started encouraging some of the college students that if they wanted to, we've got this one dude, I promise, he is a big old boy. He's probably 6.5 foot tall. I've seen him come in there with the little oven mitts, carrying something that he cooked, going to the group just because he's excited he got to do something for the group.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. Joe, do you have a college ministry?
Not yet. All of ours go to that stinking Lee University up in Cleveland, Tennessee. So, no, it's crazy. Most of the ones, we have 2 that have stayed here out of 15 graduates, 14, 15 graduates. And they're helping me out with the youth. But we have so many that move off. And also, man, I don't know how everybody else is, but if you don't have a solid college ministry, especially here in Birmingham, man, Highland sucks them up, and they're there. I don't even compete with them. We've even had a couple of them that has graduated high school and is now in their college. So right now we're looking for someone to take that on. That way we can get our transitions better because we're not doing the best of that right now.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I think one of the biggest things, because people tell us all the time, the statistic of people going from youth to college and career, you always lose people. And that percentage, people always say that people will leave the church. There's a big percentage of kids that will end up leaving the church and not coming back to church whatsoever. I I did a little research of our own, and I kind of looked at what we were doing. And it's not anybody's fault. It I guess you could just say I could blame it on the end times and the devil, like we all do. I blame it on that, but one of the things that I looked at was my first year after I took over from Richie, we had 29 high school seniors, 29, and two of which ended up going to our college and career because the other ones, where did they go? Maybe they weren't as involved as they should have in church, and people just came, or they life just gets busy and they just can't go to college and career, or some people just have no idea that we have a college and career. So I looked at that and said, okay, what can we change? We tried to do a class in between the college and career for the ones that didn't want to go or didn't know that there was one. So we tried to do that. That really didn't do much. It did for a while, but the roots weren't really as deep as they should have been. But that's one thing we're really working on. We went from a college and career service on Thursdays and changed it to a small group setting on Wednesdays. And looking to redo the room and just do some stuff with our college ministry and make them feel like, kind of like what Ori was saying, just make them kind of feel at home and just make them feel, because they go all the time and they don't ever have time to just sit still and just chill out for a while. So that's one big thing we're struggling with. Go ahead, Justin.
I love what I believe it was Ori was saying earlier. Just to give them that environment to connect in, I think is a huge deal. One of the things that was driven home at the conference that we went to was creating a kingdom culture instead of just doing another service. The church likes to provide youth service or college career service, or hey, this is the adult worship service, and we're all categorized by these different age groups. But the thing about it is we're part of the same kingdom.
Right.
And if we would, focus more on creating that kingdom culture, hey, you're everybody is part of the kingdom. And just because you graduate student ministry doesn't mean that you're not part of the kingdom anymore. And I know we're not there, but this is just something that was poured into my spirit, and so I'm trying to do my best to start the things that I need, the process that needs to start in order to create that kingdom mindset, that kingdom culture here at Five. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, you're just part of Freedom 7, and then when you graduate, you're not part of Freedom 7 anymore. You're always going to be a part of Freedom 7. You know why? Because you're connected with me, and I'm always going to be connected with you. I might not necessarily be preaching to you or teaching you every week, but guess what? Just because you graduate doesn't mean I'm not going to follow up with you and have conversations with you and ask you, hey, how's it going? And keep you accountable, because we're all part of that kingdom, and creating that culture is key to these transitions being smooth across the board. Instead of saying, oh, you're part of this age group, you're part of this age group, you're part of this age group, and have all these separate entities. Try to bring them together.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's the importance of it too, is bringing them all together. Kind of what Kevin Wallace was saying, what you were saying. Justin Bates, do you have a college ministry?
No, man. We tried college ministry like everybody else, probably sitting here in this video chat, and kind of the same ballpark as what Ori was saying before. We offered several different avenues, and that we work for a season and die off.
Yep.
So what we've done is basically exactly what Ori says they're about to do, or they've started with small groups. Offer small groups that are college centric, and try to incorporate college students into every facet of what we do in the church with leadership ability and such. Not just in student ministry, but throughout. I mean, children's ministry, music ministry, greeters, so forth and so on.
Right.
Just make sure that they understand that they have a place. Again, because that college age bracket is so busy between school and work and learning how to balance life. Frankly, an added anything was too much for most of them. So we just try to offer an avenue for them to get plugged in wherever they can, whatever they're passionate about. And, it is college ministry, but it's not a college ministry, if you follow what I'm saying.
Right.
Minister to college students. We offer college students a chance to minister.
Right.
But have a quote-unquote heading, like I have a youth ministry, I don't have a college ministry.
Right.
So maybe that's a cop-out answer, but that's how we do things.
Well, I think that it also gives them the importance of serving as well and teaching them that.
Exactly.
You see, I think one thing that we're going to go to is they would have a service every Wednesday night, for us at least. We would have a service every Thursday night, and then, like you said, you would incorporate, like, you get married couples, you get people with kids, you get all these different aspects of people. And so we are taking this big lump sum of people, and we're breaking them up into two different groups. And we're going to make one college ministry and one young adult ministry, and we're going to kind of put someone over each one to try and figure out, you gear towards young adults, you gear towards college ministry. And then maybe, one day, I don't know, it depends on them, they could come together and do a, once a quarter worship service or once a month worship service or whatever on a different night, or whenever. But I know that definitely the college ministry will probably end up doing is maybe just keep it like that for a while in the small group setting, keep it like that, and then they'll probably do like a service once a month or once every other month and trying to figure that out. Because I know some of them want to do that and want to do the worship service, and we'll let the young adults come as well. I think it's really important to hear their heart out, kind of what Ori was saying, and just because we don't have the perfect, because college ministry is probably the hardest thing that we have here because we don't have it settled. So we're trying to figure out. Like I said, this is more of like a learning chat for me than anything.
I'll tell you one thing that we've had to really guard against, Stuart, is these college students. They really want something that's going to be limited to people that are in those college years. It seems like one continual battle we've always had to face is people that are in their late 20s and in their early 30s still wanting to be a part of that group, even though they should be in a later group. And that's been one thing that we've had to face a few times. It's been a near killer whenever we start opening that group up to the older people, because you'll see a big influx of the people in their late 20s and early 30s, and it sort of makes you feel good saying, hey, it's growing really fast. But if you want to have a college and career ministry, it needs to be focused on college and career age group.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Big time. Joey Ogletree has been sitting there not saying anything. He's sitting there in his recliner right now.
I'm going to fly on the wall. Listen to all you wonderful people. All you youth board members talk about wonderful things. I'm just hanging out.
Joey, be
He
quiet.
married now, man. His wife's out making that money. He's just sitting on his butt doing nothing.
Hey, man, I've been working all morning.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, at Bradford we dealt with that. College ministry is always fine to be one of the hardest. And please hear me what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. One of the hardest groups to satisfy. I couldn't get any of them to help me use and then struggled in that area, getting them to want to be engaged, helping with youth, and then getting them plugged in to continual ministry, to come to a small group or come to a service was challenging for me. We really didn't have success in that area there with the college ministry. So I'm kind of with Stuart on this. That's kind of a learning video chat for me, kind of what you guys are doing. But it sounds like all of you kind of walked through the same situations with that. Really, the only thing seems to work is when you allow them just to kind of have freedom to kind of operate their own kind of session, their own kind of like relaxed group, and then plug the ones in that want to be plugged in. So, but
I got
great job, guys. I'm just enjoying the info as well.
I got one thing I want to say. I'm gonna have to leave. I do appreciate this conversation. One thing that the Lord has messed with me about, and I'm on the real here, I'm not goofing off, is pushing me to position people better.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's not just in student ministry or college ministry or church ministry. It's across the board. I think one thing as ministers that we have to realize, and again, I'm the cut up, I understand, but this is really what God has been doing to me, is the old scripture that we all quote 1,000 times over to our people and to ourselves about how iron sharpens iron like a friend sharpens a friend. And the one thing God's challenged me with over the past year is how iron can't sharpen iron if iron isn't positioned properly together. I think in regards to student ministry or college ministry or adult ministry or senior adult ministry or whatever ministry you want to do, we sharpen people as much as we can. But God's plan isn't just for ministers to sharpen laity. It's for laity to sharpen each other.
Right.
So I think for us, the challenge is not to necessarily program it to death and I'm all for good creativity. I'm all for all the stuff that we're discussing here. And I'm about to have to leave y'all. I wish I could keep up the conversation. But I think the challenge for us is just to figure out a way to position people properly, to literally put them together so that they can grow with each other. And growth happens by proxy if that happens. You know, if we can figure out a way that people can just enjoy each other's company and facilitate that, that's when it starts to really grow. That's when people get excited. That's when people learn. And anyway, that's my 2 cents. Love you, gentlemen. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate it. I got to go handle another meeting. Take it easy.
See you, dude. I think that was really good. We got to learn to position and engage and develop other people. I was told one time that a leader is as strong as the people that's under him. So a sign of a good leader is when you miss church. And, I learned that from my first pastor I worked for. If he would leave, he would position people, and it didn't take like, hey, do this, you do this. You got people in different positions, that's fine. But if you were to miss, a good sign of you of your leadership is how you put people in different places and how you develop. I've got one kid in my youth ministry right now that says he's called to be a youth pastor, and he wants to be a youth pastor, and very outgoing kid. He's a very good kid, and the Lord really challenged me to develop him and take him under my wing and do a lot of stuff in youth ministry. So I think what Justin said was real spot on, and we've got to learn to develop people, because when I was at Lee, I had a guy that took me in and took a chance with me. His name was Bo Dunkel, and he took me under his wing and let me intern with him, not knowing anything about me, and that set me on fire, and it just, escalated my God's will for my life. So I think we've got to develop people under us, even though we're not perfect at it. We've got to learn to do it. And, y'all, some of these college kids, they want to serve and they want to help with whatever they need to do. And we need to learn to get them, because if we don't get them, they're going to go to somebody else's church. And that's hard. And I think one of the biggest things that, like, Gadsden pastors and Birmingham pastors are dealing with right now, like Joe was saying, is Church of the Highlands. They're dealing with the most about that and trying to, what do you do with kids like that? And, how do you compete even though you don't want to compete, but how do you compete with that? So just something to think about. Anybody got anything else they'd like to add before we kind of bring it to a close? I know it's been kind of short, but if we need to talk more, we can.
Hey, I was going to ask something real quick, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can't see you, Micah.
That's all good. Sorry, I've been listening the whole time, but I'm at work, so I haven't been able to talk much. But the main question I had, it's kind of off the subject a little bit, is more on the coming from kids' church to youth ministry. I'm a first-year youth pastor, haven't had to really deal with that. So my question is, do y'all do it more based on age or more based on grade? And if so, when does that transition take place, and how do you really get them plugged into the youth ministry and coming up and all that kind of stuff? We don't really have a college group. We have 2 college kids, but one's moved off and one's helping. But so we don't really have a college ministry. But now I'm just dealing with that problem of trying to get some of the kids ministry up as they come into middle school and getting of age of youth group and all that kind of stuff.
Who wants to answer that question?
I don't have the perfect answer, but I think I discussed this one time when we were on one of these Google Hangouts. Number one, we do 7th grade or 13, so it's sort of a mixture of both. It's, I guess a hybrid, if you will. But I have a what I call a rope event or a rope ceremony, ROPE. It's rite of passage event, and we roll out the red carpet for our 7th graders, our kids that's moving up in the student ministry, and we just give them the VIP treatment. On Wednesday night, we put out the leather couches up front, and they get to sit in the leather couches. We have pizza for them, and it doubles as a orientation night. Just to tell them what we're about and to get their information, and also we highlight our ministry teams that night. So I get all of my team leaders up, like my worship team leader, my drama team leader, my shock and awe team leader that does my media, my sound, and my lighting, and they just do a little short spiel about their team and a little I guess recruiting, if you will. So the new 7th graders are able to connect with all the team leaders, and we already got their information that night. So if we see that one of them is interested in this or that, they get to connect with that team leader, and we place their information in that team leader's hands, and they therefore do all the follow up and connecting. And we found out that if we can get them connected early in serving in ministry, then more than likely they're gonna stick with us. If we can't get them connected serving somehow, it's pretty much 50-50 chance if they stick with us or not. I know that's sad, but that's just what we've discovered here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool. I think one thing that we do, Micah, is we do a move up Sunday, and one thing that we've done in the past, but what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate it all into one Sunday, so it's not like different Sundays. But do one move up Sunday, and what I'll do is I'll bring up my high school seniors on stage, present them a gift, do all that, the regular stuff, presentation, tell them where they're going to college, their major, et cetera, where they're graduating from, blah, 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 blah. We'll do that, and then what we'll do is we'll feed them after church that Sunday morning, immediately after, and I'll have our college leader and that's over our college and career, come eat lunch with us and hang out and just kind of mingle within the new kids that are moving up there. We'll do like that, but for children's ministry, for move-ups, is we do on a Sunday morning. This is what we usually done. They usually do it during kids' church, and they take the kids that are moving up, they present their gift, they kind of do their same thing, and then they will go into the fellowship hall for like snow, ice, and maybe ice cream or something, and we'll do something like that. We did that last year, and just kind of hang out with them, mingle with them a little bit. And then the guy that does my middle school ministry for me has a service. We have a middle school ministry service every other Sunday morning during church in the student ministry building. And what he'll do is he'll have it particularly on that Sunday. And when they get done eating their ice cream and stuff and mingling, they'll go over to the new service and they'll do stuff with them over there. Particularly Wednesday nights, I'll probably say something, make them stand up, stuff like that. I haven't made it big in the past, which I probably need to do a little bit better job of that. Maybe get them a gift bag, do the couches like Justin is saying. But one guy I know, a youth pastor up in Virginia, he does a thing called Kiss King Bobo. And what he does is he makes his youth room into a huge castle. And he has a red carpet from the back of the back door all the way up to the front of the sanctuary, or the youth sanctuary. And he has a big throne. He's made the stage look like a huge throne. There's a big chair up there. It looks like a big, what I'm talking about, castle throne. And they walk in and they're blindfolded. And they go up to, they're blindfolded and they walk in a single file line and they go up to King Bobo. And he says, "Get down on your knees, each of you, and kiss my ring." And he takes his sock off and they kiss his big toe. And he says, "Okay, take off your blindfold." When he does it, he has the ring, his finger and his ring sitting right there in front of their face. So they think that they've kissed, the ring, but they've really kissed the Joker's big toe, which is kind of sick, nasty, and I would never do something like that. So they do that, and then they just kind of welcome them, have pizza, have a party with them, and just kind of welcome them and get them mingled in. So that's how they do things. Anybody else want to add anything?
Kind of sick and demented, if you want to know the truth.
Hey.
And for the students not to know the difference between a ring and a big toe, you got something going on with a toe that's making it that hard. I mean, goodness gracious.
I gotta say, I'd punch somebody in the face.
Wow.
I actually got that idea from Joe Bain, y'all. I just wanted to cover him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else they'd like to add before we kind of close
I got
shop?
one thing still before we go.
No.
No, seriously. Okay.
All right, go.
How do we're talking about transition and stuff now? How do you transition kids from high school to college, and yet kind of still keep some that want to leave there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how is that the best way, so that you can leave some that want to work in youth ministry, and then there's others that want to move up? How do you keep them from all wanting to stay in youth ministry or all wanting to move up, so there's nobody that can help the youth ministry kind of carry on? How do we balance that out?
Ori, you got anything you'd like to add about that?
As far as ours, I've always said with my student staff, I don't want just anybody with warm blood being in there. This is sort of the process that we're beginning on that. That's why we sort of have a student leadership team. And so immediately when people graduate from high school, if anybody has an option to stay and be a part of our student staff, it's going to be the people that served on my student leadership team. Now, one thing that we're really pushing towards, of course, I do want my college students involved, but there is a point where they need to have a little bit of separation from the student ministry so that they're prepared to come back and minister. Because one thing that I dealt with whenever I started student ministry like right after high school, and I had a little bit of an issue with people looking at me as a pastor instead of a fellow student.
Yeah.
So one thing that I do is I try to give them a little bit of separation so that when they do come back, they are ready. But let's just say if they served on my student leadership team, there's already a degree of respect there because people know that they were involved in it. They've got that persona, that lifestyle that reflects leadership. But I've seen that by having a process in place like student leadership, it sort of takes care of that whole thing. I encourage if some of my team is not involved in the Wednesday night college and career group, I want them in the Sunday group So under no circumstances there a time to where I've got a college person on my team that they're not involved in a small group on another day. Does that make sense, Rock?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's like right now we've got like this one couple in our youth group now that the guy was going to the college and career class, but now he started dating this girl that is wanting to be a youth leader. So you've got kind of like the tear of, are they going to stay because they can't be without each other for a night? It's just unheard of. So It's like which way do we go? It's just kind of weird. So.
One thing that's helped me is I tell people if they're going to be on my team, I want them involved in a group somewhere else. And especially with college and career, it needs to be that age-appropriate group. Then I'm not saying they need to lead a student small group on another day. That's sort of trying to beat around the bush and get away from what I'm saying. I tell them if they're going to be a college person on my team, I want them in a college and career group.
Yeah.
On another day at least.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
I like that. So if they serve, they need to be in another group somewhere. I like that. Cool.
Let me add this. I'm being challenged right now by a particular book I'm reading. It's called Chase the Line by Mark Batterson. And the cover of it says, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. That statement alone has just really kind of rocked me where I'm at. And we're talking about transitions. We're possibly with whatever ministry you're in, probably the same places as where I'm at. I'm literally doing something that I've never done before in ministry in 13 years, and that's incorporating small groups and services, because I want to try to get everybody involved as we possibly can. And this book has really convicted me because I don't think I've really have been dreaming big enough on what I should do and what I need to do. I'm kind of going with, what everybody else is doing, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We still like this process I'm doing it. I got it from Justin Sharp at Summiton. And during this time, I'm being really convicted on dreaming really big for our youth ministry, dreaming really big for college ministry, everything that you're a part of. Dream big. Ask God, man, what is it that you want to do? What is it in your heart that you want to see happen? How? Because things that maybe Ori's doing at Loxley or Justin's doing at Fife is probably going to be a little different than what I do here at Metro, because every place is different. I know being in Gadsden to Huntsville to here, it's three different churches that I've tried to do three different things, and I'm still learning and trying to figure out what the best thing is. So I just want to encourage you guys, man, dream big for your student ministry. Don't keep God in a box and keep that dream small. Get out there. We serve a huge God, and if you're dealing with transitions like most of us are, man, let's dream big, man. Let's let God really invade that time and help us glean off other people, man. Really let other people help you, but man, let God be the driving force in doing some really cool things. Because what I'm realizing this is, man, our students deserve it, you deserve it, your church deserves it. So get out there, man, dream big, and let's see what God can do.
I like that. Yep.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Stu.
Hey, Brandon. Hush, Brandon. I'm just kidding. All right. I
love you guys. You guys are great.
I wish I had a hat like Brandon and glasses like Brandon, too.
Don't be sipping the head right. Hey, I'm sitting at a middle school trying to do this, and people thought, who is he looking at? Who's he talking to?
it's funny. It's funny. I'm in the mission field. Okay,
So,
having a good time.
so dumb.
Good time.
Well, cool. I like it. I think today was good. I appreciate each of you guys. I love you guys. I think about you guys often. I pray for y'all about once a year. I'm just kidding. I think about y'all. I pray for you guys a lot. I think highly of each of you. Kind of going off what Joe was saying. I believe in y'all. And, man, I believe that greater things are ahead for Alabama Church of God youth camps and youth pastors in the state. But y'all, Jeff Eastham is not on here, but y'all shoot him a message and welcome him and make him feel welcome to the state. But
Things are going to be good at youth camp because we got a fire youth board this year.
Yeah, that's right. Everything's always good at youth camp. It's just because I'm there, you know.
Except for that guy that drives the 4-wheeler and the trailer everywhere around. Y'all know y'all know his name?
I won't be on the 4-wheeler this year, and I'll have a Gator this year, or a Ranger. So no more. Hey, except for Joe and Stu, they're going to have golf carts now. They're going to be able to drive up the hill when they want to.
Oh no, I've never had a golf cart. Joe has had a golf cart every year.
Yes, he has. Amen to that.
H2O, boys. H2O. That's where I live.
H2O. Hey
I'm
guys.
running my own golf cart.
Hey guys, let me ask y'all a question.
Do it, Justin.
This is serious talk. I mean, I know y'all. I've only got to hear bits and pieces of this. I don't know. I trust each and every one of y'all who's on here right now. Ori, hey brother, how you doing, man? Hadn't seen you in a while, right? No, seriously. If y'all could, I know this is just a hangout and stuff like that, but if y'all could, I'd appreciate some prayer.
Yeah.
Going through a lot, and I trust you guys, and I love each and every one of y'all. I just wanted to ask that before we all got off. I thank the Lord of you guys, and if y'all could throw a prayer my way, I'd appreciate it.
Well, we ain't going to leave without praying, so y'all, let's pray real quick. Father, I love you today. Lord, I praise you. God, I thank you for what you're doing in this place. God, I thank you for these youth pastors. God, I pray, Father, that your hand would be upon Brandon. Father God, I pray that you would move in his life, God, that whatever situation and circumstance he's in, Lord, right now, Father, I pray that you would touch it. God, I pray that you would give birth to something great, God, through this, Lord. God, that you give us circumstances and you give us stuff in our lives, God, to teach us about how good you are to us, God. No matter, it might come in a way that we don't agree with, God, or we don't like it, or it's uncomfortable, Lord, but it's all for the glory and the furthering of your kingdom, God. I pray that your hand would be upon Brandon. God, you have called him, God, to do a great work. Lord, I pray that you would touch his family, God, right now in this moment, Lord, and that everything that they do, God, will be honoring to you, Father. I praise you. I give you glory and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. And everybody said,
Amen. Appreciate it.
Amen.
Appreciate it.
Love y'all. I believe in y'all. Peace out.
Adios.
See you guys. Bye.